We all know that fingers can scratch paint, but can a rinseless wash do the same? For literally the last decade, all I've ever heard in our comment section, as emails of people stopping by saying hello, is rinseless washes scratch. A lot of people, when actually asked why they think a rinseless wash scratches, is they say, well, you need soap, you need bubbles, you need foam, you need the soap, the suds to lift the dirt off the surface and be able to rinse that away so that you don't have to worry about scratching the panel. So what most people don't realize is that a rinseless wash encompasses three main properties. One is encapsulation, meaning that once the product is on the surface, the rinseless wash is on the surface, it is going to fully encapsulate all that organic material inside an ionic cushion. Inside that bubble, it is all that dirt is protected inside there. Second is emulsification. While inside that ionic cushion, the product starts to emulsify the organic material and it breaks it down to smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller pieces. So you don't have a large granule of sand, you have a bunch of little pieces of sand inside that little bubble. And three, while using a proper wash media, i.e. a sponge, a wash mitt, or even multiple towels, you are lifting and pulling that grime and water off the surface and depositing it into a bucket, which then pulls all of its organic material, all that sediment, it pulls it all the way down to the bottom, thereby making your liquid much safer as you are washing the vehicle. So those three things also, when paired with just drying the surface, is what encompasses a rinseless wash, because you are not having to do the final rinse, which is taking a garden hose and rinsing the vehicle off. Now, I will say this, if a car is extremely muddy, just take a pressure washer and rinse all the mud off the vehicle first. Then just replace your soap with a rinseless wash. It's pretty much doing the exact same thing. The only difference is you're not getting rid of the soap off the surface by rinsing. Hence the word no rinse. So now let's put those scientific principles to the test. So what's my hypothesis? Well, because I've been a detailer close to 30 years and I've been using rinseless wash for over 10 years, I hypothesize that nothing will happen to this panel that we are going to wash other than being a clean surface. So you know what the other cleanest move is? Subscribing to the Rag Company YouTube channel. That's right, hit that button right below. That way you don't miss any of this amazing detailing content. All right, so how are we gonna test this hypothesis? Well, we took this lovely black Volvo and we corrected this panel. Now, we then let Mother Nature take its course. And well, as you can see, we got a little dust, we got a little debris, we got a little pollen, and there's a little bit of tree sap up on top there, but we let the elements get this panel dirty for us. So now it needs to be washed. Now the rest of the car is not corrected, but this panel is corrected. And we're gonna be using Koch Chemie's RRW Rapid Rinseless Wash to wash the car. Now, Rapid Rinseless Wash is a 256-to-1 dilution, just like pretty much every other rinseless on the market. So that is a clear indicator that 256-to-1 is the sweet spot. Now, you're probably wondering, in layman's terms, what is that? Well, that is ½ an ounce per gallon of water. And we're gonna be utilizing this handy dandy dilution tool, courtesy of KCX, to just squeeze the bottle and fill up exactly how much we need. Now, 29 milliliters equals 1 ounce, so about 30 mils. And the top of this is 30 mils. So we are gonna put 2 ounces, 60 mils, into 4 gallons of water. So now we have our Yeti bucket filled with 4 gallons of water, and we do have a grit guard at the bottom of the bucket. Now you're probably wondering, why do I need a grit guard? Well, it's to prevent you from touching the bottom of the bucket, because the properties of this rinseless wash and our other ones, Absolute and O&R, pull all the dirt and grime to the bottom of the bucket, and that's where it lives. And the grit guard is there to prevent that from getting stirred up or from you and your wash media touching the very bottom of the grit guard. That is more of a safety feature than really anything else. Now, we're also going to be using the USS, our ultra safe sponge as well, and we have that in the bucket. Now, you can use a chenille wash mitt, you can use multiple wash towels. We recommend the Wolf Pack for this, but you can do any type of feature that you want depending on the media that you desire. But for this, we're going to be using the USS. So now to test our hypothesis. Now, again, like I said, we can pre-spray this panel and start the encapsulation process. And to do that, we've got our IK sprayer at 256:1. And we are just gonna spray the surface. So I'll do this half of the surface just to show you. Now, this panel is nicely and evenly misted. And for those of you wondering, you can go a little harder with the amount of liquid you want to spray. And in many cases, some people find that utilizing any of the other larger IKs works better because they can go faster. They can also use it to actually spray off any heavier dirt or grime and utilize it kind of in the same way that they would use a garden hose. So they would almost do a pre-wash with a sprayer. So now that that's on the surface, it is doing its job, starting to encapsulate and grab all those particulates. What we're gonna do now is literally take our USS and we're gonna wipe the surface. Now with our USS, we wanna make sure that it is just at the point of dripping. We're gonna start and work our way top to bottom. So the cool thing about the USS and other sponges is that it does have these cuts in it. And the goal of that is to use these fingers not only to get into these little nooks and crannies, but also to have a place for some of that surface grime and dirt to fall into. Then we take our sponge and we put it back in our wash media and squeeze it out and rinse it out a couple times. But that's it. That's literally all we had to do. Now, if this panel had a little more grime and a little more debris on it, what I would do is probably just go back over the surface and give it another once over. And that's it. Now I can grab my towel, dry that part of the panel, and we can move on. So as you can see, I feel my hypothesis was correct. And KCX RRW did the trick. This rinseless proved that it doesn't scratch, it doesn't harm the surface, and it did everything it was supposed to do. It encapsulated the dirt, it emulsified all of that organic material, and it lifted away from the surface easily and effectively, thereby leaving a clean surface. Now, it looks like we could just hit this with some paint prep and actually coat this corrected panel, which is pretty sweet. That was the goal of rinseless washing. Now, if you're still not satisfied, I suggest you actually do this yourself. You actually try it and figure out exactly what your limits are or what the capacity or limits of the tool, i.e. the rinseless wash that you are using. Now, I will say, this is a skill set. Just like if you were learning how to paint correct, learning how to run a polisher, this rinseless washing is a skill set because of the fact that water is getting scarcer and scarcer. There have been a number of hose pipe bans in the past 10 years. Think of all the droughts that have happened around the world. And if you're a detailer and all of a sudden your water stops working or you're not allowed to use your water without incurring a hefty fine, well, how are you gonna do business? How are you gonna wash a vehicle for a customer? How are you gonna be able to wash your own car at home if you can't even turn on your garden hose? Well, with rinseless washing, you can get these type of results with just 4 gallons of water, which is pretty sweet. And we don't have a lot of water on the surface. This is something you can do in your garage in the middle of winter, which is huge and really amazing to be able to do. So if you're feeling lucky and you want to try this out for yourself, make this experiment happen in your home, feel free to pick up any of our great rinseless washes that we carry here at theragcompany.com. And as always, guys, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next Rag Company YouTube video. Thanks for watching. Ah, it smells so good. I wish I could just drink this stuff. Doesn't taste very good.